What's up, everybody? I kind of feel like this is really worth talking about. Maybe not too in-depth because we don't know a whole lot yet, but I think it's interesting. So not too long ago, I put out a video that said the G1 well is drying up or something along those lines, and everybody told me, not everybody, to be fair, a lot of people got it, but a lot of people told me I didn't know what I was talking about. And I also said that companies would start scrambling to find ideas for new avenues to take in order to create lines that were successful, intriguing, engaging, and well-received. And it looks like this might be the first evidence of that. So at the top of the year, BadCube released a picture of a bunch of drawings of characters that didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to people. And I think most of us thought that these were just sort of the design stages of other pieces they were working on. Every time they put out a product, they seemed to put little Easter eggs in the back of the instruction booklet as to the design process and design artwork and such, oftentimes having completely original designs that look pretty cool or at the very least interesting. But it turns out it might be going in a different direction because they teased this image, which is a young lady hugging a tree, which I think was pretty confusing to most people until they put out the next image, which said Natures, which most people mistakenly took for a Beast Wars tease. And I can see why, because of the font, because of the word itself, etc. But now it seems definitely more tied into the previous image of the young lady and her affection with trees and less into that of robots with real monkey fur. So we get images of this guy. And this seems to be, and according to them, a third series, a new series with a new scale, new characters. They say it has a smoother transformation for broader consumers, not just the old school collectors. And then they go on to say that the price range will be well worth it with a winky face. And as a man who often uses winky faces in text messages, I can appreciate that. But this looks awfully familiar to the design work that was in the back of the Huff figure, which was titled Huff from Otherworld, which maybe should have been another, but I get it. So let's look at this guy. The alt mode looks cool, looks slick, seems to be about the same size as MP10, and looks like it will scale well with your MPs. I like the old school kind of paint job on the front of the cab. Reminds me of the Mask vehicle as well. And then it transforms into a robot that's slightly bigger than their Sideswipe and a good bit bigger than their Huff. So we're looking at a new design, and it is interesting. Now, don't get me wrong, it's obviously based on the material, but I think for all intents and purposes, we can all agree that this is something new. There are elements of it that remind me of some Make Toys designs, but this is something different. But I like how the wheels double up down at the bottom of the feet, and then we've got an awfully lot of orange to look at. And then we have the cab hanging off the back of them, so backpacks look like they're still going to be an issue. We haven't quite sorted that out for our new line. I do think there's going to be an emphasis on articulation. It looks like there's a lot of spacing in between the joints to allow for good articulation. In addition, they seem to be using a universal joint, looks like almost connected to a ball peg, maybe, perhaps even two universals interconnected to one another to create a pretty impressive butterfly joint. So that should be cool to see as well. As you can see, there's also space for the weapons to flip up and around to sit down the arm like a null ray or up on top of the shoulder like a shoulder mounted cannon. And then if he gets himself into a pickle, he comes with battle axes. Battle axes. All in all, I think it's an interesting looking design. I think if you like the company, you should probably give it a shot. But what I find most interesting about all of this is I think this is going to be somewhat historic because I think this is them taking a chance. And it will be up to the market. It will be up to the BadCube fans and supporters. And it will be up to the quality of the product to see if this sort of thing is sustainable. If it is, I'd say there's a fair chance you could see a lot more of this in the future from different companies. If it isn't, I think it will send a message that will read, we're not interested in your own design. We're interested in the character. And that will be telling. And I honestly don't know which way it'll go. There is a very large aspect of the fan base that just kind of likes mech and giant robots. So this could very well succeed. And it looks like there's going to be a number of interesting things going on with them, so I'm definitely not writing it off either. It's not for me, but I'm not writing off the potential success of it. But I think what's going to be more interesting than anything else is how this fares in the market. How does a character that has no connection to any fan base survive in a market that's pretty much been predominantly reliant upon people's connection to a franchise or fan base? I think it's something that we should all watch pretty closely. And I'm sure it's something that they're watching pretty closely. So I thought it was worthwhile to touch base with you guys and talk about this for just a second. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.